Hello, beautiful beings. My name's Yana. I'm sure that some of you know me already, but this is my second video, and I actually tried to record another video last week, and I climbed up a tree for you, but I was so cold that I literally couldn't think, so I had to abandon ship, basically. But yeah, I've wanted to record another video for a while, and it's just finding the right time and mind state to be able to share with you all, to put it into words, really. So I decided on today, and I'm pretty emotional today, and I've been going through some really big shifts in feeling absolutely amazing and on top of the world some of the day. So like last night I was absolutely beside myself, jumping around like an animal. No, it wasn't that bad. But then today, like, just my heart feeling quite vulnerable, and so what I want to talk about today factors in quite well with that emotion, really, which is being authentic with yourself and letting yourself be vulnerable, and knowing that it's okay to not feel amazing all the time, and not having to put on a show to please other people, and knowing that you can't always be perfect no matter how much you try, so you can do everything to try and be a better person, but if you don't believe it inside yourself, then you just can't get to that state of feeling by trying to find it outside of yourself. So yeah, I think authenticity is really, really important. Knowing what your moral values are and what's important to you, and being able to have the courage to not bombard people with it, as some people do, but to know deep within yourself what you want in this world and who you want to be as a person, and just having that deep self-esteem and inner courage. And that can be really difficult in the world we're living in if you're afraid to be seen in a certain way by people. And for me, I find that really difficult in sharing my spirituality and what I believe in, because sometimes my imagination makes so many connections, and I believe in the possibility of so many amazing, beautiful things, that some people just won't even want to factor in the possibility of anything that's slightly not a part of what society believes in. So for some people, you kind of have to be a little bit careful what you say, to tread ground a little bit at a time, to figure out how much people are going to open up to what you want to share with them, and to know that it's okay for them to not want to get involved in a certain belief system. So for me, I'm trying to get out there a little bit more and to share more of who I authentically am, and to have the courage a little bit more to do that, which is quite scary. But I think it's absolutely necessary to be able to do that, to know that you're free in this world, to be able to express yourself. And so Yeah, I think that a lot of the time with spirituality, people believe that you have to be perfect all the time and you have to be this beautiful, sparkly, ascended being, and to never be negative and to always think positively and all of that sort of stuff. And I got really into that way of thinking for a while, and I became very ill because of it, because I was completely denying how I actually felt, to the point where I didn't know how I actually felt. I thought I felt good, but it was manifesting in physical symptoms of my body screaming at me, telling me that I need to actually listen to myself. So, yeah, when I did the ayahuasca retreat, I don't think I don't think I talked about it that much last time. That basically I had all these beautiful, amazing visions and experiences with different beings and different different energies and everything. But then in the last ceremony, I didn't see so much, and I was very sick during the ceremony. I did a lot of purging, and it felt okay because the last three had been so beautiful that I sort of felt like, okay, I was bound to have one that was a bit shitty. And funnily, when I gave into it and I just said, okay, I'm just going to let myself feel horrible, let this horrible feeling of being sick happen within me, I woke up the next day with some quite strong revelations within me that I just felt really sad, and my heart just felt so vulnerable. And when we were talking about our experiences, I just burst into tears and I just said, like, I just want to cry, I just want to feel, because I've not let myself feel for so long that this is what I need to do now, is just to let myself fall apart and tell myself that it's okay for me to do that, that it's safe for me to do that. And I know exactly why that belief system came in to protect me, because when I was younger I was so lost in the negative emotions that if I hadn't told myself that it wasn't safe for me to carry on being that way anymore, I probably wouldn't be here anymore. So that belief system within myself was a kind way of me letting myself be protected. And that obviously got me through a very rough time in my life, but then it got to a state where I no longer needed that anymore, and actually it was sabotaging me by still having that belief system playing out within me. So breaking down that was quite important, because being able to authentically feel what's going on in your body and your emotions is the first step in being able to meet yourself where you are and work with yourself from there. So you can't go from having issues that need to be addressed to suddenly being this light, shiny, beautiful being that's dancing around all free and amazing, like a lot of people in the spiritual community believe. Sometimes you need to do the really rough work. You need to really dig deep within yourself and bring up those emotions that have been hiding within you for so long. So you need to create that safe space within yourself that you don't have to get lost within them, but you just need to let yourself know that actually it's okay to do that. It is safe. And by letting yourself be immersed in how you feel, I find that often it changes very quickly. So by saying, okay, I feel sad at the moment, I just want to sit here with my blanket around me in my little blanket nest, and do absolutely nothing and just feel kind of sad. And then, yeah, so if you let yourself do that, after about 5 minutes you're like, oh, that was fun. Yeah, I don't really need to do that anymore. I feel alright now. So, but if you deny that within yourself, you're going to carry on having that feeling within your heart that knows that it needs to express something. Just goes on throughout the day because you're repressing it. And it's like water that's not, it's not flowing. So, like the dam is building and building until at one point you'll suddenly have to have such an emotional breakdown to let out all of that emotional energy because you've not allowed it to flow within you for so long. So it's better to catch it early, I think, than to bottle it up. So yeah, a lot of what I'm thinking about, as well as authenticity, is forgiveness and the ego. And as a psychology graduate, a lot of ego is always talked about in psychology, and it is a lot in spirituality as well. And there's a lot of ego bashing and ego hating in the spiritual world. A lot of denying of if only I could get rid of this human part of myself that's sabotaging me all the time, that's really selfish and thinks it runs a show, and there's a lot of kind of negativity surrounding it, which is quite funny really, because we came here to have a human experience, and if you're trying to deny yourself as being human, then you're kind of missing out a little bit, because that messiness and confusion is part of our journey. And I think with the ego, it's more like a small child that's it needs to be guided lovingly and treated with compassion and forgiveness, rather than trying to deny it or push it away, because that'll only make it scream louder. So yeah, if you ignore a child, it's gonna have a big old temper tantrum, and the same with the ego. So I think we need to shift our focus just a little bit and just have a bit more compassion for ourselves and kindness for ourselves, because we're doing the best job that we can, and our ego, the belief systems that it's come up with, are not to sabotage us or to be mean. They're there to protect us, and they're mechanisms it's come up with to look out for our best interests, what it thinks we need at the time. So even if, like with me, with my illness and denying that part of myself, if I saw it in a negative way, it would be a completely different focus. But by seeing it as that mechanism within me was to protect me at the time, and loving that part of myself for being so kind as to want to protect me, that was a huge act of compassion towards myself at the time. But once you see those belief systems within you, you can naturally evolve past it by loving that part of you and releasing it. So it's a much more gentle process than trying to push it away or deny it. So I think loving the human being that you are and all that you've been through is much more powerful, even if it's not quite as interesting. So what else did I want to talk about? Yeah, so I'm at the moment with all of the like energies and shifts that seem to be happening. I'm seeing that other people are going through the same, which is very comforting because it's very intense. I've never experienced anything like this, and it's absolutely stunningly beautiful. I've never felt such amazing visions in my mind and revelations and experiences of who I have been and why I've come to be the being that I am, not just in this life, but all kinds of different pathways of possibilities of who I was and who I am, all kind of melding together. And at that point, trying to talk about your multi-dimensional self and how all these thoughts and visions interact with each other, it's very difficult to put into words. It really is. But yeah, I'm just being with it at the moment, and just seeing how I feel on a moment-to-moment basis and letting it unfold, because it's so beautiful that I don't want to turn back now, and I don't think there's any way I could even try to turn it around, because it's like a wave that's just takes you over. So I'm going through a lot of cycles of like expansion where I'm just absolutely overwhelmed with gratitude and love and so much joy that I just have to share it in all that I can. So I listen to the most beautiful music and move my body, and I feel the energy of like food and everything, and how it interacts with my body. And then after this big expansion, I then go into this state of contraction for a little while that I'm definitely in a lot more today, that I feel a lot more vulnerable sorry. Yeah, a lot more that I just want to I've got the giggles now, that I just want to nurture myself and okay, yeah, so after that I then go into expansion again, so it's like this this wave that I'm just moving up and down all the time, and it's really beautiful as a journey to be a part of it, so I'm incredibly grateful, even if I am sometimes feeling a little bit like shit. Which I kind of am at the moment, but also feeling very amazing at the same time. So yeah, just one last thing I want to talk about, because I don't want this to run on as long as the last video. I wanted to talk about how once you're more aware of the energy around you and how you impact your environment, it's then seeing everything as a mirror to the frequency that you're emitting out into the universe. So it's becoming very what's the word? I can't remember what the word is. It's becoming just very in tune and aware of what's happening around you. And I just went on the most beautiful walk and watched the sunset. It was absolutely out of this world. It was so beautiful. And I came back to my house, and I just looked around and thought, okay, the house is a little bit messy, so I think that's a mirror of how I'm feeling inside right now. So by cleaning my outside environment, it might make a little bit more of a difference to my inside, but it's also seeing that what you're attracting outside of yourself gives you a clue to how you're feeling internally, and then you can use techniques like meditation to get yourself into a different frequency state, and then see what you're attracting back. So it's constantly recalibrating your vibration and seeing where it gets you in each moment, which is really fun to do. So I'll meditate, and then I'll go online, and then suddenly a load of articles that are exactly in tune with what I'm thinking about at the moment will come back to me, or people who are in the same resonance as me will start interacting with me. But if I'm in a lower state where I'm feeling kind of needy, and that I really want someone to interact with me to make me feel better about myself, then nada, no one will interact with me, and I'll be in this this lonely state where, by trying to pull outside people in to make me feel better about myself, I reach a stalemate where I think, actually, no one can make me feel better about myself apart from me, actually. So I'm starting to do some much more deep internal work that is realising that my mental state and how I affect my own being is then allowing people of a similar resonance to be able to interact with me. So I'm taking kind of a quantum leap or a jump into a different reality that they're then in. So it becomes more of a responsibility that the way you interact with people isn't about bringing people to your level. It's about becoming so empowered within yourself that when you then see people who you interact with and who make you feel happy to be around, you think, yay, I've done so much work within myself that I'm allowed to play with these lovely beings. So it becomes like a pleasure to be around them, because you think, I've done enough work to be able to resonate on the same level as these beautiful people who I'm around. So yeah, I'm very, very grateful for all of the people who support me all the time, and that's like my family and my friends and my online community, and not just my best friends and people that I see all the time. It's people who sometimes you don't even talk to each other, but you know that on some level you're affecting each other just by being in the world together. That you, just knowing that some people in the world are making this world a better place is enough in itself. You don't have to be a part of their close friendship group all the time to feel empowered just by knowing that they're in the world with you. So yeah, I'm seeing some really inspiring, beautiful people, like musicians and everyday people, everyday heroes, that just make me feel so grateful to be alive, to be on this journey together. So yeah, I think that's all that I wanted to talk about today. So just remember that you're here to be you, to shine your light, to be yourself, and to make a positive, beautiful difference in the world just by being yourself. So don't try to deny who you are, try to be better by trying to be someone else. When you authentically love yourself within, you will effortlessly expand into different ways of expressing yourself, and you won't think, am I good enough to express myself in that way? It will just become an effortless creation to share more of who you are with other people. So keep shining your light, beautiful people. And I will try to do the same. And I look forward to connecting with you all a lot more in all kinds of different beautiful ways. So thank you very much for watching my video and for reading my poetry online and being a part of my community and coming into my life in all kinds of different forms. And I love you all very much. So thank you.